Welcome to this episode of the Sports Detective Podcast Show. My name is James Williams, and today, where is Joel Embiid? So last night, the Philadelphia 76ers traveled to Denver to take on the Denver Nuggets, and for the fifth straight season, Joel Embiid did not play in this game. This has been a reoccurring story online of like, hey, why does Joel Embiid not play in this game at Denver? We're going to get, I went through and I looked back at all the reasons why he did not play in the past 5 years. So we'll get to that here in a minute. But this season, it did make sense that he wasn't going to be in the game. He's only played 13 games this entire year. He's missed the 8 games prior to it. There's a report, I believe it was like a week or so ago, that Joel Embiid has looked like he was maybe getting back on the court. Then all of a sudden there's this swelling in his knee. He has not been healthy all year. He came into the year unhealthy. But Denver Nuggets fans are tired of people, that there still is prominent people out there that are saying, hey, I will take Joel Embiid over Nikola Jokic. And they're obviously very frustrated with that. And they let their feelings known about Joel Embiid. I'm going to show you guys the 2 clips that were going viral of Denver fans last night chanting, "Where is Joel Embiid?" So we'll go ahead. I got 2 clips because I'm not sure the audio quality on all of them. So here's the first one I'll end up showing you guys, and then I'll show you the second one, which might have a little bit better audio. Okay, now I'll show you guys this other one. This one might be a little bit more clear on the audio. Oh, wait. So you guys get the gist of that beef there with Denver. And also, too, it's also the part, too, that, like, when Denver went to Philadelphia, uh, Embiid played and looked amazing, and honestly just kicked Jokic's ass for a few years there, and obviously put up great numbers. But let's dive into the reasons of why Joel Embiid has been missing this game, and let's kind of discuss whether or not all of this is fair, and this criticism of him, ducking this game is fair. Because I do think this year he's just hurt this year. He's been hurt all year, like and especially after all of the talk last year of him ducking it, like he wouldn't have missed this game unless he was actually hurt. Like he's actually hurt this year. So if you go back to 2021, so this is the 2020-2021 season, Joel Embiid played in the 6 games prior to the game at Denver, missed the game at Denver due to a bone bruise in his knee, and then played the next 3 games after. The very next season, 2021-2022, this is in, I believe it was November 2021, he missed the 5 games prior to Denver, but then played the next 3 games after. He missed the Denver game because he did not, it was because of COVID protocols. Okay. The very next year, 2022-2023, is the year Joel Embiid won MVP, played in the 13 games prior, missed the game at Denver due to a sore calf, and then played in the next 5 games after that. 2023-2024, he played in the 6 games prior to that, missed that to a knee injury, missed 1 game after that, then came back for the Warriors game, ends up injuring his knee again when Jonathan Kuminga falls on it. I saw people talking about this online. I think people forget that the reason he got hurt again wasn't because he like re-aggravated his original knee injury. No, it was like a freak play where Kuminga like falls on his knee and like sits on his knee, and then he's out for basically the rest of the season until the tail end of the season. He plays like 6 regular season games, and then they lose to the Knicks in 6 games. And then obviously we have this year, we're swelling in his knee. So I would say the COVID one this year, the year and the year prior are legit. Like he wasn't supposed to play in those games. The other ones though, it's kind of like, come on, son. You're playing in games before and after, and it's just, if you go through the box scores of his game logs, it's like just that one game that's out there. Now he has like sporadically missing 2 or 3 games here or there, 1 game here or there, so it's not an uncommon thing for Joel Embiid, but it is kind of a little bit of a like Come on, man. Come on, man. Uh, but obviously not all of those things were because he was like, but I'm playing in 78 games a year, and I'm just missing this one game against Denver or at Denver. So it's not that. But with that being said, though, I want to have like a bigger picture discussion about Joel Embiid and where he is at in his career right now. Because since he won the MVP in that 2023 season, he has only played in 52 games. In 2 seasons, he's played in 52 games. That is it. I believe that's counting the playoffs, too. In that time, too, by the way, in that same time span, Nikola Jokic has gotten 43 triple-doubles. Just kind of a fun stat right there. Another thing here, I'll just read here. The last time Joel Embiid played in Denver, no one had heard of COVID-19. The Queen of England was still alive. Brady was still on the Patriots. James Harden was still a Rocket. Todd Gurley was still on the Rams. Tiger King and The Last Dance weren't out yet. And the UK was still part of the EU. I saw those tweets. I figured to add that little nugget in there too. But let's talk about Joel Embiid, because this is a bigger picture discussion that I think we need to start having about this dude, because this dude's going to turn 31 in like a month or two. And it might be time to start having the washed conversation with Joel Embiid. And I don't think that's unfair. If you go through just other NBA stars throughout the history of the league, not every player is like LeBron and Steph, where they get to have this like extended prime into their mid to late 30s and they're still competing for titles. Dwight Howard last made an All-Star appearance in his career when he was 28. Russell Westbrook's last All-Star appearance when he was 31. T-Mac's last All-Star appearance was when he was 27. Vince Carter's last All-Star appearance was when he was 30. Chris Webber's last All-Star appearance was when he was 29. Kevin Durant, since he left the Warriors in his 30s, only won 2 playoff series without the Warriors in his 30s. Carmelo last made an All-NBA team when he was 28. Amari Stoudemire's last All-Star game was when he was 28. Blake Griffin had one All-Star game after he was 25 years old, and that was when he was 29 in Detroit. Joel Embiid's turning 31 soon. This is a guy that has missed more than 50% of the possible NBA games he could have played in his entire career. He's a big guy with a unique body who needs to lose weight, and he keeps getting hurt. And there's these ticky-tacky injuries that keep happening every single year. I hope it's not the case, but there's a chance that we've seen the last of Joel Embiid as an MVP candidate, as a guy that is a what we think is like a top 5, top 10 guy. It's very, very possible, because you just look through NBA history. I just told you like 10 examples off the top of my head there. Oh, another one I could have said was like Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson was basically cooked by the time he was 32. Like, this is just how the course of the NBA goes. These championship windows that we have are always shorter than we think is what it's going to be. Even LeBron, when he goes to Miami, he's like, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, however high he counted up there. Your championship window is a lot shorter than you think. Dallas Mavericks make the finals last year. Oh my God, here we go, Luka. They're getting Klay Thompson. You got Luka in his mid-20s. Kyrie's signed to an extension. PJ Washington's in his prime. Derek Lively's heading into his prime now. And Luka's missing time this year, and just found out a day or two ago Derek Lively's going to be out for a while. These championship windows are a lot shorter than people think. And if Joel Embiid can't stay healthy, and it might not be anything that he's doing, he just might have the bad luck card at this point. It might be done. He might be cooked. I listened to this on the Bill Simmons podcast like a few months ago, and I can't remember if he said it or if one of his guests said it, but they were like, hey, what stage of like his career, if you're comparing what stage Joel Embiid is compared to like where Shaq was in his career at this point, where would Joel Embiid be? And they're like the Phoenix Suns Shaq. So it's like post Miami. This is like Shaq in his like mid 30s. He had like one little like good season with the Suns, but there's a good chance we might be there. Now you can make the argument we got modern day medicine. We got, we know more health about recovery. Surgeries are way better than they've ever have been in mankind. But this guy's been injury prone his whole career. He's only played like 53 games or whatever since he won the MVP. He's played 13 games this year. He's probably going to play, hopefully, upwards of like high 30s, low 40s this year. and this guy's supposed to keep this stuff going where he's competing at an MVP level into his early to mid 30s. It's sad to say, but it might be over. It might be over for this guy. And I don't take much pride in saying that. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he can come back next year and kick butt and the Sixers are a contender again. But right now, guys, it ain't looking that good for the big fella. It ain't looking that good for him. And I think he's got to do some serious things about his off-season programs and staying in shape, his diet, and being able to condition himself for the season. Because the thing that was so frustrating for a lot of people with Joel Embiid was like there was the report earlier this year where they have the team meeting, and it leaks from the team meeting like immediately that Tyrese Maxey called out Joel Embiid for being late to, quote, everything. And what happened after that report? Did anybody come out and be like, hey, that was a bullcrap report. Tyrese Maxey didn't say that stuff. That's not what happened at all. Joel Embiid is a professional. He's on time to stuff. No, it was like, how did that leak? I'm going to go after the mole that leaked that rather than being mad at yourself. That was the thing that was very frustrating with Joel Embiid. Because instead of focusing, hey, how can I get on the court, which I'm sure he does a lot of, it's like, oh, who's the mole? Who's the guy that's out there to make me look bad? Telling the truth about my lack of preparation and my professionalism. Now, I'm sure he's not the only guy in the NBA that is a star that is late to stuff. But when our biggest concern is like, hey, are you doing what you need to do to be on the court like other players do? And you're not. And then we find out that stuff, we're going to rip you for it. We're going to rip you for it. So, hey, man, the time for him to get serious about professionalism, showing up on time, being in shape, having the proper diet, it was 3 years ago. It wasn't today. It was 3 years ago. And I know that he was a lot better than he was early in his career, but there's a point where you got to take it to another level. Chris Paul looked like he was washed in his career, and then all of a sudden he goes to Oklahoma City and becomes a vegan, and then he looks like he's 6 years younger again. And he revitalizes his career and makes a lot more money because of it. And almost wins an NBA title because of it. So there you have it. That's going to do it for this episode here today. I think Joel Embiid might be washed, be sad. But again, we're looking at other stars in NBA history. Once you hit that late 20s, early 30s thing, you fall off that mountain a lot faster than I think what a lot of people think. So that's going to do it for this episode here today. If you liked what you saw here today, hit that like button, hit subscribe if you haven't done so already. Leave a comment on what you think of this video, what you think of the content of it. Feel free to check out other videos on the Sports Detective Podcast channel page, and we'll talk to you next time. Thank you for watching.